All right, welcome everybody to a special episode of Diesel Dani. It's the World Cup draw. It's almost live. We already have a few of the teams in the pots, and I have a few special guests with me today to talk about, our feelings, to talk about, basically whatever we want to talk about in this live stream. Dave and Alessandro, how are you guys doing? You guys excited for this? And what's up?
Yeah, man, all good. It's always a good day when the World Cup draws on. Even when Uruguay playing badly and things are not well, it's like really always an exciting day. Like Christmas Day type stuff. That's how I feel about it.
That's a good way to put it. It does feel like Christmas Day if you're a football fan. If I'm being honest,
Yeah,
of
right.
course, Uruguay's not in the best going into the best of positions into this tournament, but nonetheless super interesting. And they are right. This is the biggest tournament in history. Most teams. So it'll be interesting to see how the groups play out, and obviously the new draw format as well.
Absolutely, guys. Absolutely. Well, we already know that we have a few, and I'm sharing it up on the screen for everybody to see. We're on the FIFA site. Group A1, Mexico is in Group A. Group B1 will be Canada. And then I scroll down a little bit more, and Group D1 is the United States of America. How are you feeling about those groups? I can tell you now, I know that if we get drawn, and we meaning Uruguay, obviously I'm wearing the Uruguay jersey. The three of us are huge Uruguay fans. So this is going to be a heavily influenced Uruguay live stream. But we will cover everything that's going on in the World Cup draw, even Kevin Hart coming out on the stage right now to talk. But how are we feeling about that? The USA teams, if Uruguay gets drawn into that group, the games will be on the West Coast. Obviously, if we get drawn into the Mexico group, will be playing the group games in Mexico, and the same would be for Canada. If we get drawn into Group B, we would play all three group games in Canada. How are you guys feeling about that?
Feel pretty good. I mean, I actually kind of hope to be drawn with the United States for a rematch, given the what happened in the last game, and I have a funny feeling it will be the United States, but we'll see. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I've not actually researched it that much at this moment because obviously you would have to wait for certain teams in the group stages with the pot four especially. But yeah, for me, normally when you come into a World Cup draw for Uruguay, actually, it's like you have expectations, you have high hope, and this is not the same for me at the moment. So for me, I don't really care too much about it, because even if you look at the last World Cup, we were in a pool or in a group with Portugal, obviously, tough opponent, but South Korea and Ghana, we obviously should have beaten them, both of them, and we beat one, but not both of them. So it does Uruguay seem to rise to the occasion when it's a tough group. So I don't mind if that's the case, but at the moment, I guess an easier group would be better for us because we're not on the top of our game at the moment. So I don't know. We will just find out, and I'm excited anyway. I hope actually to have some old rivalries to have a new chapter. That's what I think is the coolest part about World Cup group stages. So let's hope for that. Maybe in Italy if they get through. So yeah,
I'll tell you this. It's interesting how they're doing the World Cup draw this time. Obviously, Argentina, Spain, and the other two top teams in the top four wouldn't be able to face each other until certain points in the tournament. On my social media, I gave my opinion on how I felt about that. I understand what FIFA's doing. You essentially want to have the best matchups or the most high profile matchups in the later stages so that you can charge the most amount of money to all the fans that are going to be going to those games. But you're also missing out on some fantastic matchups. Like how amazing would it be to get an Argentina-Spain in a quarterfinal? Like we've seen in history, right? We saw Argentina face Germany in a quarterfinal. Uruguay has faced France in a quarterfinal. You get these big powerhouses facing other teams, and I think you take away a little bit from the aura of the tournament. For basically to make a few extra. Well, I guess not a few, but a few million extra bucks, I guess.
That's a good point. I mean, I actually watched the video that you put on your Instagram, and I had a few of my thoughts as well. And I think they're kind of similar to what you were saying. I understand it from a marketing and commercialization point of view, fine, but it does take away from the mystique that the World Cup has when you do get these matchups very early on in the tournament. Argentina, Germany is a great example of 2010. Portugal, Spain in 2010 as well is another great example. That was a round of 16 match. Could you believe it or not? Especially it takes away some of those smaller teams like a Morocco going into the semifinals of the World Cup. There's the argument to say that, they're not going to win the tournament, but moments like that change so much for a country like Morocco, for example. You see that as a young kid from a country like Morocco. All of a sudden you start playing football. All of a sudden you start getting involved into the sport, and that's how the next generation really develops. Think of Uruguay, for example. What came out of 2010? Myself, I started playing the sport just because of how well that tournament went for us. And I'm sure there's a whole generation of different people from different countries around the world who are going to probably feel the same way if their country do really well. And unfortunately, with the way that it's set up now, it does kind of diminish the opportunity for that to happen.
Yeah, but because I don't think we've spoken about it a lot, because obviously now you have 48 teams in the World Cup. For me, I've always been like, I think 32 was even a lot, to have. And I get the arguments that it's good for countries like Haiti, Curacao to be on the world stage, because also the arguments you just mentioned, they see their heroes play on the world stage, and it inspires them to take up this sport. So that's good for the game in general. But I would like to hear your opinion about this. Do you also think it's good for the World Cup, the competition itself? Because I think, like you just alluded to, it diminishes the value of the World Cup. So it's like, I don't know. But it's the case now. So, I mean, we're not going to change it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, that now the top two teams in each group, and then I believe it's the best three third place teams in the group stage advance. Before, it was just the top two teams. So now you're getting a little bit more watered down, but obviously you're getting more teams passing on to the next stage and being able to create a magical moment like we saw Morocco do, like we've seen other teams do in the past. And look, I mean, I get the argument on both sides. I guess we're going to have to kind of see what it is this year, like how we did next year, like how we did this year with the Club World Cup. There was a lot of folks that were against it. There were a lot of folks that were criticizing it, calling it a cash grab, but it ended up being a great time, especially if you got to attend one of the games. The atmosphere was electric in some of those games. And it gives these countries an opportunity to, like Dave said, see their heroes play in a game that really matters for something. Even though we might get some games like 8-0, 7-0, 7-1. And does that ruin, what we historically have seen in the World Cup in terms of the best teams, really the best teams in the world getting into this final stage?
It does a little bit. I mean, those score lines, that are 8-0 have happened before in the tournament. I mean,
Saudi Arabia got beat by Germany 8-0 one year.
Exactly, in 2002. So it's not a concept that's foreign, as well as the best third place teams was something that was done in, I think, the last time it was done was in 1986, I believe. But that was, of course, the World Cup, I think, was 24 teams at the time. So it was a lot tighter. But yeah, no, it does diminish the value of the competition a little bit. But I'm thinking from the perspective of a bigger team, a Brazil, a Spain, a Germany. They look at these games, the urgency of having to win those two first games, if you're a larger nation, is gone a little bit in some ways, right? Because you're now up against a Curacao or a team of that like, and you can heavily rotate your teams, and it's going to favor some of the teams on the top end who have that type of squad depth. So I am disappointed from that perspective, because I do really love a lot of the urgency that those two first games of the tournament really bring. Think of 2014 for us against England, right? Both teams. That was do or die, and it doesn't get more do and die than that.
No, I completely agree. That's the thing, because many World Cups, actually the group stages, they're probably the most fun times watching the World Cup, because when you go to knockout stages, I mean, there's so much people don't want to risk being eliminated. While in the group stages, there's also that element, but still you have three games, and they're more open in general. But for example, when you look at the 2014 World Cup, which is a good example, is when Uruguay lost against Costa Rica, it was like, we have a mountain to climb here, and we did, and obviously what happened. But that's the cool thing about these group stages, when two teams go through, and now when you even have that possibility of going as third, it's like the room for failure is margin of error has been widened quite a bit, which is, I don't like it, but hey, it's it's what it is. I guess maybe we can talk about Daniel, what would be your worst group for Uruguay, like toughest group, looking at the options right now? I'm interested.
You're getting ahead of me. You're getting ahead of me because I was actually putting together the visual so that we can put it up on the screen and start to talk about, who do we want to get and who would we hate to get in terms of the different groups. So give me 1 second to get the visual up on the screen for everybody paying attention. While we do that, why don't you guys go ahead and plug your social medias so that everybody who's watching can also follow you. We have tons of people in here. We have some comments that I'm going to read in a second. And go ahead and plug your social medias.
Yeah, sure. Dave, you go first.
No, Uruguayan Heroes, but not that active. But yes, but you can find me there.
Yeah, but it's a GOAT account. It's a GOAT account on X. Definitely follow Uruguayan Heroes. It's one of the best Uruguayan content accounts on X.
Yeah, I second that, and especially when there was that gap from La Celeste blog into what was the sort of the Twitter or X stage, it really kind of kept the Uruguayan English-speaking fan community alive. So shout out that account for sure. It is a GOAT account. My Twitter handle is my last name, first name. So Vina, V-I-N-A, and then my first name, Alessandro. So Alessandro. Get used to spelling that every time I go to Starbucks. Give them my order name. So Vina Alessandro 1 is my Twitter handle. And then my Instagram is just my first name and my last name. So Alessandro_Vina.
Awesome, guys. Awesome. All right. I got right now the visual. I'm going to put it up on the screen right there. It's a little small, but obviously we already know that Canada, Mexico, and USA have gone into their pots. They still have Spain, Argentina, France, England, Brazil, Portugal, Netherlands, Belgium, and Germany left in pot 1. And we're going to find out where they end up going in pot 2, which is where Uruguay is at. You have Croatia, Morocco, Colombia, Switzerland, Japan, Senegal, Iran, Korea Republic, Ecuador, Austria, and Australia. Interesting teams in that pot. In pot 3, obviously the surprise, at least for me, not that I'm a hater of Erling Haaland or anything, but I was surprised that he led his team to the World Cup. So Norway, Panama, Egypt, Algeria, Scotland, Paraguay, Tunisia, Cote d'Ivoire, Uzbekistan, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and South Africa. And in pot 4, we still have 2, 4, 6 spots to be determined. Already in pot 4, Jordan, Cape Verde Islands, Ghana, Curacao, Haiti, and New Zealand. Those are the teams that are qualified right now. I'm going to start with Alessandro. In pot 1, if you had to draw one of those teams, and you already said USA, but taking USA out of the picture, who would you rather draw, knowing that we can't go into Argentina or Brazil's group?
I'll give you 2 answers. The next would be Canada, which is a bit of a cop-out. But then of the big teams there, of the ones that I'd rather draw, I'd probably have to go with Belgium, or Germany, just because Belgium's coming into this significantly weaker than they did I think they've been weakening since 2018. That was their golden generation and their best chance. And so I do believe they're kind of going through a bit of a transition, an opportunity for Uruguay to possibly take some points off of there. Teams I want to avoid for sure, definitely you want to avoid Spain or Portugal, because those are, I think, in the top 3 to win the entire thing.
What about you, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, what I would like the most is obviously one of the top 3 of the pot 1, for sure. Other than that, I mean, I would like to see actually Netherlands and Uruguay in one group. Face them again in the World Cup Obviously, I'm from the Netherlands, but I would support Uruguay in that case. But yeah, so let's say my toughest group would be, I guess you would think about France, obviously Uruguay, and I think Norway, because of the threat they offer. Obviously, there are teams maybe in that same pot that are better all around, but I think Norway is like a really tough one. And then pot 4, I mean, and Italy could potentially join there. But just for the story, let's go for Ghana. Let's do it again. Let's run it back. Yeah, honestly, yeah. And let's say the group I would like most is, I guess, Canada or Mexico. And then I would think of Qatar, I guess, and maybe Haiti or Curacao. Yeah.
I agree. I would love to get, I would love to get Canada just because I think they're a good team. They're an interesting team in the first round. Obviously, I would love to avoid France and Spain. I would be okay with Portugal. I'd be okay with England. I'd be okay with Netherlands and Belgium. And Germany would be an interesting matchup, right? And then in pot 3, I would love to see Panama, maybe even Scotland, just because of the history, right, of those two national teams, Uruguay and Scotland, historically, teams that are followed a lot. It would be an interesting matchup. And I would love to avoid Cote d'Ivoire. I would love to avoid all the African teams if possible, just because I know we have a hard time against teams that are fast, against teams that play rough. So I would love a Jordan. I would love a Curacao, a Haiti, even a New Zealand in pot 4. I know you only got to choose pot 1, Ale, so I'll let you go with pot 3 and 4.
Pot 3, I definitely would love to get a Uzbekistan or Qatar or Saudi Arabia, even South Africa. South Africa just squeezed their way in Africa. I think of the African teams, they are one of the weakest. Pot 4, I'd love to get a Haiti or a Curacao, but the obvious one you'd want to avoid is whoever comes out of the UEFA playoff, intercontinental playoff spot. So obviously you're Italy. It's not even a guarantee that Italy's in this. Everyone's kind of talking as if they are going to make it, but don't rule out Wales just yet. Cape Verde's an interesting one as well. I think people are underestimating them a little bit. They do play into Uruguay's weaknesses, as Danny was saying, which is that, direct physical style. But I look at this, like, worst case scenario would be like a Spain, ourselves, Norway or Cote d'Ivoire, and then you get like an Italy or Wales in your group. I think that would be, that'd be very tough for us. But a best case scenario, like I said, would be Belgium, a Uzbekistan, and then like a Curacao.
Interesting. The FIFA I'm watching on the TV here, they're just drawing this out. Obviously, it started at 12 o'clock, 11:45, 12 o'clock. We had planned to go on that time, but we saw as they kept drawing it out, we were like, well, let's just wait, and we figured around 12:45, 1 o'clock that Eastern time that they would go ahead and have the draw. But so far, nothing. It looks like they're just presenting how it's going to be. But they love to milk this, huh? They love to milk this. Obviously, we had President Trump speaking, and Gabe, who was with us on the last episode that we did on Bielsa, he's like, man, Trump is irritating. And he's commenting, it's so painful to watch. And it is. We are just so anxious, so excited to understand and to know who we're going to face off. The best part is we're going to know today who we're going to face. We just are not going to know where. And that's the other twist, is that FIFA didn't announce any of the sites of any of the games yet. They're going to wait until tomorrow to announce that. And I have from inside information that apparently whoever is the head of H1 is going to be playing in Miami 2 times. I would not be surprised if that's Argentina.
Oh, you know why they're announcing it tomorrow. They're going to get in a room tonight, all of them. They're going to be licking their fingers. They're going to be like, where are we going to go? And they have the best part about it. They've got all of our data from the pre-registration, from the visa sale. So they know exactly where they want to map this stuff out.
Yeah, it's taking. This actually what they're doing right now is this like kind of breakdown. Certainly for a lot of people, it's good because if you've never really watched World Cup, or certainly for young people, but that's nice. But its problem is it's probably the 16th item that they've done. And I was actually, Trump was on. I was actually surprised because normally he speaks for a long time. So I was like kind of fearing this is gonna take a long time, but it didn't.
They probably really reined them in for this. They probably really reined them in. But I saw a lot of stuff on social media. I was curious your guys' thoughts on the representatives of who's going to be actually making the draw, because usually in the past, I remember in 2014, it was filled of people who scored very important World Cup goals, and this time it's sort of a celebrity A-list.
Forlan is there. I'm not sure if he's going to pick up, but
yeah, but I actually was not totally against that, because I think from in America, soccer is still growing. It's come such a long way, but people who aren't necessarily in tune will see like a Tom Brady, Shaquille O'Neal, and then they will turn their heads and actually watch it, and it will make for a lot of good social media clicks as well and engagement. So I can see why they did it. I do think they maybe should have brought a little bit more of those legends into the fold, at least there. on stage. But I understand why they did that.
So I'm watching right now, but probably you are as well, Daniel. I see some American sports stars from the past now coming up to the stage. So Wayne Gretzky doesn't ring a bell for me actually, but maybe for you guys.
Canadian hockey
The
player.
Canadian hockey player. They used to call him, or they still do, the Great One, because he goes down as probably the greatest hockey player to ever come across the NHL.
That's pretty cool, actually. To be honest, I mean, right? Or
yeah. How do you guys feel about Bielsa? Reportedly, I don't think he was left behind. I think he was left behind. I don't think he chose not to go like everything was reported. And how do you guys feel while we wait and they announce, now they're announcing, looks like Giancarlo Stanton from the New York Yankees onto the stage. Oh no, sorry, Aaron Judge. I apologize. Aaron Judge from the New York Yankees. How do you guys feel about that and them appointing Diego Godin as kind of like that intermediary between the players and Bielsa, so close to the World Cup?
This is a really complicated situation for the national team, and one that I don't think I've ever seen in my lifetime of watching. I do think maybe perhaps we're overreading or overanalyzing this decision to not go to the draw. I think ultimately it was decided from a PR perspective that if he goes to the draw, then there's going to be a lot of questions drawn at him and an opportunity to possibly say things up to interpretation or possibly make the situation. It's already a very sensitive situation, so possibly make it worse. With respect to Godin, I don't know if Godin's really the best representative to be the intermediary between the two. I don't know. There's a lot of people are sour on Godin for what happened in 2022. At least what I read from comments on social media. But it'd be interesting who they're going to get in there. I thought they were going to go for someone like Abreu. He probably said no. He's probably busy coaching his team in Mexico. But the fact that we need an intermediary in the first place is not a great sign.
No, I mean I agree with you that Godin is like far too early. You have to look for someone like in the early 2000s, I guess. Obviously they have to be available, but also, I mean, even that kind of solution, it's never going to work with Bielsa, is it? You know, you have to be someone who's receptive to that person coming in as well and trying to fix things, and he's not that. I mean, the fact he's not the World Cup draw, I actually think it's ridiculous. I mean, even if we want it or not, you're the Uruguay manager. Go there, be there. I mean, it's ridiculous, right?
Well, Tavares wasn't at the last. Tavares, I don't think ever has gone to World Cup.
No, but yeah, I'm not sure about that actually. I don't know, but I know Alonso was there obviously. But I think it's like I see all these managers now in their seats. You know, Koeman of the Netherlands, for example, but most of Jesse March, I think I saw as part of them. It's like it's normal to be there as the national team manager, I think. But Tavares didn't go, but obviously Tavares, for him, maybe certainly later on, it wasn't good for him to go, you know, with the travel and all that stuff. And Tavares obviously was a larger-than-life character in Uruguayan football, so it's, I guess, different. But Bielsa, I mean, why are you not there? But okay, it's not.
The only explanation is they don't want him in front of cameras because all the questions that he's going to get is not going to be about the draw. At least the Uruguayan media, anyways, they're gonna eat him up. Maybe that's true, but I never see during his draws, you never really see like interviews and stuff like that from managers. It's like they never really are on the forefront of the ceremony. So, but okay, I guess I get what you're saying though, because maybe it can be can become a little bit more toxic then, because he's obviously getting a lot of shit thrown at him from all sort of directions. So maybe he wants to retaliate in some way when he gets a question. Interesting. Good times.
Getting back to the draw, the other two guys that they brought out, and I think this is interesting. Actually, it's an interesting topic. Shaquille O'Neal, obviously historic basketball player, one of the greatest centers of all time in the NBA, and then Tom Brady, one of the best players to ever play the NFL, if not the greatest quarterback. They have a person from all four major sports in the United States. Not one of those guys from the MLS. They could have brought Messi. They could have brought, and I know he plays a final tomorrow, I guess not Messi, but they could have brought somebody, one of the big players from the MLS, knowing that, you want to promote that, but they chose to bring players from the other four major sports in the United States. And I find that funny. I find that it's just weird to me.
They could have brought Son. I mean, Son would have been perfect for this actually, because obviously you reach a big market that obviously they don't get a lot of attention in serum or in things like this, So you could have done that, but yeah, I don't know either.
That's a great point that you make, though. The National League, FIFA places such a strong emphasis. It's a requirement to host a World Cup is that you need a professional league that is in good standing according to FIFA, and they need an MLS representative up there. I don't think there's no ifs or two ways about it. Like, you need a representative of the league, even a legend. I'm surprised Alexi Lalas wasn't up there, for example. I thought he would have been prime candidate number one given his social media posts, but
absolutely. I mean, no doubt. Now they're announcing the teams that are in pot 1. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it'll be Tom Brady who's in charge of pot 1 to start announcing where the teams are going to be falling in. Anxiety is starting to dig a little deeper within each of us. Obviously, Uruguay, the team that the three of us are big fans of, is in pot 2. So we'll find out shortly what pot they're drawn into. Man, I'm excited, and I really should have bet on Argentina getting that H1. I mean, the other thing that I thought is interesting, normally they have soccer representatives, right, at all the World Cup kind of doing this. And that there's always been this quiet, let's say a wives' tale or an old wives' tale or some sort of thing that the balls that you want to bring out are cold so that they know which ones to pick out of the pot. The fact that they don't have any soccer representatives that wouldn't know that, I think actually makes this more of a chance than in past World Cups. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to come up with different crazy theories here, but it sounds pretty good.
I don't think that's not a theory. I think Sepp Blatter, in testimony when he, for something after 2014, did testify or something that heated and temperature-based balls were used in the 2014 World Cup draw. The World Cup draw in Brazil, I remember, drew heavy criticism for the fact that they had a board up while they were drawing, and they didn't reveal the name of the team. They would grab the ball, go behind the board, and then reveal the team. And ever since that draw, it's all been having to be done in the open. So if you want a conspiracy, I think it goes back to 2014.
If a World Cup is being played in the US, we have to talk conspiracies for sure.
And here we go. The first ball that is not one of the 3 host cities is open, and it is Brazil. We're going to find out where Brazil is going to go. Man, I'm hyped.
I'm ahead, man. I'm ahead. I'm going to rewind 10 seconds because otherwise this is not going to be fun.
Oh, I apologize. I get, and isn't that crazy? You're in Europe and you're ahead of me, and I'm literally less than 1,000 miles away from where they're drawing this, and I'm behind. Maybe it's because I'm streaming it. There they go. Pot C. So Brazil is the head of Group C. We already have A, B, C, and D, Mexico, Canada, Brazil, and USA. The next team being drawn is the 4-time champion Germany, and we're going to see what pot they're going to go to. I mean, it's oof. So far, Uruguay can go into A, B, and D. They cannot go into C. We'll see what pot Germany goes into, and looks like they're going to go into E.
Interesting.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm not. So in terms of pairing with groups, do we have a lot of clarity about that? For example, now when let's say Mexico and Canada, are they kind of paired together now in terms of who they will face? If, for example, if Canada finishes first in their group and Mexico second in theirs, would they kind of cross paths? Because normally
let's see if I can find the schedule.
Yeah. But I'm also not sure if that's also has to be decided still.
So Netherlands go. Oh, so it looks like they're not going to be drawing the groups or the pots. It looks like they're just going to be drawing the names, and that person is just going to go into the next pot. At least that's what it looks like to me, because I don't see them drawing
in sequential order. Usually they draw twice.
That's right. Usually they draw the team name and then they draw the pot. They draw the group. But that's really weird. So it looks like Belgium in G, Spain in H. So Spain, according to my sources, is in H1 and will play in Miami 2 times. A lot of Spanish folks down here in Miami. But who knows, man? With all the conspiracy theories going around, and like you said, Ale, all the people going into the room tonight to figure out who's going to play where, we'll finally find out tomorrow, where these guys are going to play.
This is interesting. This is very interesting because I wonder why they removed that extra step. Was it, to make it more watchable on TV? Because I know it does it makes for a better watch if you remove that added step of drawing the pot. But
no, I don't get it either, to be honest. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I'm not watching the bracket, knockout stage brackets, but obviously the fact that there's a third team advancing from not all the groups, obviously, but most groups, right? I think So let's say 8 of 12 third places advance. It makes the kind of knockout bracket a little bit more less structured, actually, if you now try to look ahead. But okay, I mean, we have to wait now, right?
We have to wait. Unfortunately, we have to wait until they continue drawing. You saw that Argentina could not go into Group I because then they would face Spain before the semifinals. So they skipped Group I and they placed Argentina into Group J. And now they just drew France into Group I. So we have Mexico, Canada, Brazil, USA, Germany, Netherlands, Belgium, Spain, France, Argentina, Portugal, and England, the last team to be drawn out of the pot, will go into Group L. We have all of our cabeza de series, all of our head of series up and ready to go. And now the anxiety starts, right? The anxiety starts.
Absolutely. This is where the fun begins.
No, but anybody got a feeling right now as to where Uruguay will land?
I think it's going to be Group E in Germany.
Yeah. Uruguay and Germany is such a weird matchup in terms of nations, footballing nations. It's like will be cool though.
I think we're gonna end up with the US.
Yeah.
The feeling.
Would be great actually to kind of avenge that loss on their home soil. That would be great. I mean,
well, it would stink for the Uruguay fans because then that would mean that they would play either in Vancouver, Seattle, San Francisco, or Los Angeles because the U.S. will be playing out in the West Coast. So that would really stink for the Uruguay fans.
Casillas is now getting into it there. You know what I don't like about? I mean, this guy was interviewing in like with people on Roberto Carlos and stuff. It's like he makes it about himself as well. You're there just to interview these guys. Do that. Ask 2 questions, but this is also going on too long in the build-up. It's like, come on.
Yeah, it's part of the marketing, man. It's part of the American marketing. Unfortunately, that's how it is here. That's how it is. So we know that Mexico, we don't know who they will play yet, but we know that Mexico has the first game. They will play the inaugural game at Mexico City Stadium. That is match 1. Match 2 will be the other 2 teams that are in Group A. And then match 3 will be in Toronto Stadium. That'll be Canada's first game. And match 4 will be USA's group stadium at Los Angeles Stadium in Los Angeles. We know those are the only 3 or 4 games that have so far a matchup. I can tell you, Group C is going to be in Boston, apparently. Group D is going to be in Vancouver. Group C will also play in New York. So interesting matchups as we continue on this draw. They're announcing the teams in Pot 2, starting with Croatia. I'm curious to see who they're going to put in the clip for Uruguay. If it's going to be Darwin, if it's going to be somebody else.
Have they been using contemporary clips, or are they using legacy clips of legends?
They look like contemporary clips.
Yeah, they do too. Yeah, I agree.
It'll probably be Valverde.
Yeah, it's the easiest one, right?
I mean, does he have any World Cup highlights?
No, it wasn't Valverde. It was Valverde. Yeah, it was Valverde.
Yeah, Brazil. Yeah. Tarjeta.
Yeah.
Santiago Mele celebrating for a second or 2.
I'm hoping for a good game in Group B in the Canadian one because I'm going to the first game in Toronto. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so you'll definitely get to see who plays, and if we draw Canada, and Canada is in Group B. The games would then be, let's see, the second round games. One game would be in Los Angeles Stadium, and the second game would be in Vancouver. The first game is in Toronto.
The first game's in Toronto. Yeah.
Hey guys, can you tell me which frame you're looking at the moment? Because I can like pause or put like go forward a little bit.
I'm right now looking at Austria.
Okay.
Don't pay attention to me. This stream's not great. I'm a bit behind, but okay.
No, that's good, but we're not gonna time it perfectly. It's never gonna happen.
No,
so let's see.
impossible.
We'll just see.
All right, here we go. Here we go.
This is it.
This is the moment. This is the moment that we're all waiting for. I wonder if they're going to do it the same way, if it's going to be in sequential order.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see. I would imagine they'd have to keep it consistent, right?
Let's see. For this one, there's one more important thing. The team for pot 2, the teams in the same conference cannot be drawn into the same group except for European teams. So that's important to know. So we cannot be drawn into Brazil's group, Group C. We cannot be drawn into Argentina's group, Group J. Yeah, that's about it. Here we go. First ball drawn from Shaquille O'Neal. And the balls don't look cold, man. The balls look really small in his hands, actually. And the first one drawn,
anything looks small in those hands.
Korea. And let's see what they do here. Let's see if we understand what the draw is. I'm trying to see. It looks like it's going to be in sequential order.
Yeah.
Yep, there it is. Pot A. So the first game, I think the first game in the World Cup will be Korea Republic, Mexico.
No. I see now they will play the second place, the A2.
Okay, I see. They'll play A2. Understood. So Switzerland now is drawn into Canada's group.
Yep.
That's an interesting matchup right there.
Canada's a very interesting game. Switzerland's a very organized and tactically rigid team, so that'll be a good test for Canada.
All right, so now they're going to draw Brazil's group. We know that neither Uruguay, Colombia, or Ecuador, the 3 other South American teams in Pot 2, will not be able to be drawn in there. So if one of those are drawn, they will go into Group D with the United States of America. Let's see who Shaquille O'Neal pulls out of the bag, and it is Morocco. So Morocco, interesting matchup, guys. Morocco, Brazil.
That's a very interesting matchup. Yeah. Of course, Morocco, semi-finalists in the previous edition of the World Cup. So
and U20 World Cup champion.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a nice game actually. It's still crazy that they made it to the semi-finals actually last time around. It kind of makes me sad that we did the way we went out because there were chances in that World Cup. Actually,
there were, but I don't think we'd make it to the semifinals regardless.
No,
not with that team.
No, that's true.
All right, the next ball is coming out, and this will be into
Uruguay.
USA's group.
Australia
versus USA. So USA gets Australia. The Socceroos. The Socceroos are an interesting team, a team that if they show up organized, guys, it's a team that I think can make a little bit of noise, especially depending on the group that they get. Obviously, they draw the USA in Pot 2. They will be playing on the West Coast, and the Aussie fans are going to love that because it'll be a shorter flight than having to fly to the East Coast.
Absolutely. Australia is a consistent they have a consistent cameo in every World Cup, and they do okay for themselves.
Oof. Ecuador gets drawn into Germany's group.
Yeah.
Ecuador, Germany. Oof, that is a tough matchup. But Ecuador, a very, very good team.
Ecuador, very, very good and looking to avenge for 2006 when they were drawn in the same group as Germany.
The opening game, all right, or not? From the World Cup?
So, yeah.
4-2 on top of my head. But maybe I'm wrong.
No, you're wrong.
All right, guys. So we're going to end up with a European team. Let's see which one it is. It is not Netherlands, as Japan gets drawn into Netherlands group. All right, so we have Belgium, France, Portugal, and England. Who do you guys prefer that Uruguay goes into?
Let's say Belgium.
Call me crazy. I say England.
I think England would be tough. It would be tough to beat England.
That will be really tough. Yeah.
All right, let's see. Group G is now being drawn. Still a handful of teams left in the pot.
I do want to shout out Japan very quickly. As they're definitely going to be a dark horse.
Iran gets drawn into Group G with Belgium, and now the nerves start getting even more and more.
Oh boy!
Spain, France, Portugal, and England. Could we get another Uruguay, Portugal?
I hope not.
No, I hope not either. Yeah, I mean, Belgium would have been cool because I think we played them in '86 or something like this in the World Cup. But other than that, or '90 maybe.
Yeah,
90, right? Yeah, Uruguay.
Oh, Spain, Uruguay, and Spain. Uruguay and Spain. So Uruguay draws Group H. I mean, that could be good news for me, guys. That means I might get a couple of Uruguay games in Miami. I know match 37 is in Miami. Match 38 is in Atlanta. Let's see what other. I mean, for me, this is fantastic. They play in Miami and Atlanta the first game. Oh, it looks like I'm going to be going to quite a few Uruguay games. I mean, I'm a little happy about that.
Absolutely. You got tons of reason to celebrate from I don't know what you're going to be watching in Miami in a Spain-Uruguay game, but we'll see.
I don't know what I'm going to be watching either, but let's see. Senegal gets drawn into France's group. And that's interesting, too, because you have a lot of ex-Senegalese players
absolutely
that play for France, right? Or I guess Senegalese-born players that play for France. That's going to be a tough matchup, too, for France. France doesn't do well against those teams like similarly like Uruguay that play a very rough, fast-paced style.
Absolutely.
Oh, Argentina is going to draw Austria, no doubt.
Which would be really cool, actually.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
There it is. Argentina, Austria, Group J, and now two teams are left. If you're Colombia, you prefer playing against Cristiano, CR7, and that Portuguese squad, or you prefer playing against England and Harry Quinn?
I think England tactically fares up better for Colombia than Portugal.
So interesting. We might get to see a Portugal-Croatia matchup in round one. Wow.
But these two groups, anyway, it's going to land. They are good.
There it is. Portugal-Colombia.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. I mean, these two have the potential to be the group of death of this tournament. If you look at what can come behind it, obviously the third part is not strong in quality, but still.
In terms of groups of death, I'm looking at E, F, H, K, and L as the contenders.
Yeah, not true. And I guess Japan would not. Yeah, it could be, but then the pot 3 and 4 have to be quite strong, and that's going to be difficult. I agree with you. Japan is always kind of an interesting team, but they never really get there in the tournament. They are being unlucky as well, by the way. Against Belgium in 2018, they were really unlucky. But yeah,
look, if you end up drawing a Norway from pot 3, I mean that could be your group of death in one of those groups. If you draw an Egypt, if you draw even a Côte d'Ivoire, that's going to be an interesting matchup. So you have to hope that you draw a Panama. You have to hope that you draw, maybe a Tunisia, an Uzbekistan, a Qatar, a Saudi Arabia, or a South Africa, right?
Yeah, but yeah,
absolutely. But you also want to avoid Scotland as well.
At this point, I agree.
Yeah, is that true? I mean, I get what you're saying, but still, I mean, if McTominay is your star, and I know he's doing exceptionally well right now, but I still can get it out of my head because I've seen him for United a lot of times as well. When he was playing, then Cavani was there. It's like it's not great, but he obviously.
So Uruguay, Spain will be the third match day in Group H, and that game will either be played in Houston or in Guadalajara, Mexico. So we know that Uruguay's third game in the group stage will be against Spain, and it will be in Houston or Guadalajara. Preferably, I prefer Houston. It's a closer flight for me. But I've never been to Guadalajara, and I would imagine that FIFA, when they're looking at the draws, that they're going to want to put that game in Guadalajara because you'll probably get a very heavy Spanish fan base coming into Mexico.
Yeah, I would was just about to say what you were going to say. It makes the most logistical and marketing sense to put that game there.
All right. So now they're announcing the group or the Pot C teams. Only 4 or 5 more teams for them to announce. And then Aaron Judge from the New York Yankees will have the honor of opening the balls in Pot 3. This has been a pretty seamless draw compared to prior draws where you have to pull the team and then you have to pull the group. This format has been pretty easier to follow. It's been faster.
I imagine, they probably did it just for views. It makes for a much better view.
Oh, and so that they could fill the rest of the time with artists and interviews and nonsense.
Whatever else brings in the cha-ching. But I'm looking at this, though. Spain, we're in the group with Spain, right? And first of all, I never thought that our fate would be in the hands of Aaron Judge. Let me just put that out there. But I look at this, the group, prior to us, so Belgium and Iran, if we are to squeeze out of H, we'd be playing someone from that group. So it's not, just trying to look at something from a positive perspective.
Yeah. So who would we go against if we're in H?
I think we'd play against someone from G, right, in the second round.
I would assume, but I'm not sure because I'm looking at this graphic here, and it's a little tough to follow because it's so tiny. I'm trying to get it to open up on my screen. There we go. So we are in light green. We are in that light green. So H would then play 1E versus 3, 1C versus 2F. Let's see. Okay, 1H would play 2J.
2J. Okay, that's Argentina's group.
Yep, 1H would play 2J. And then let's see where 2H would play 1J.
That group 8 now, of Group A, Mexico, South Africa, South Korea, that's like, come on. It's not a World Cup type group, right?
I could see Korea beating Mexico.
No, not but this quality in depth is like so low for a World Cup group.
Absolutely not. Let's see. And that group too: Canada, Qatar, Switzerland.
Come on, that's.
If you're the Canadians, you're happy.
Yeah, for sure, and it should be. But it's like,
okay,
you're happy right now or not? Yeah.
Canada will open.
Ale, you happy with it? This, or you would have liked to see maybe like.
I would have, from a selfish point of view, I would love to see someone who I'm interested in seeing live. But from a footballing perspective, it's great news for Canada.
No, for sure. Paraguay, I was obviously.
Paraguay will go into USA's group. So USA draws USA, Australia, and Paraguay. Paraguay has a very favorable group, and could look to advance in the group stage.
Yeah. Paraguay and US also had a massive brawl the last time they played too. So
I know, that's great.
Very interesting.
That's
Paraguay can advance as group leaders in this one for sure. I think.
Yeah, Paraguay has a chance to top this group for sure.
Right?
Absolutely. Anybody can top the group. Even Australia. I have faith in the Socceroos. Let's see who gets into Brazil's group. I'd love to see Norway go into this group. If Norway goes into this group, this could become the group of death.
Norway or Ivory Coast.
There it is, Côte d'Ivoire. Côte d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast into Brazil's group. Brazil, Morocco, and Côte d'Ivoire.
I have them here going into Germany's.
Yeah, me too. But I guess you're right, Daniel. Because right? Or no, of course not. Jesus, they cannot go with.
They can't go into Brazil's group because of Morocco.
Oh, you're right. So Côte d'Ivoire goes into. Wow, that could be a group of death, guys.
That's like that's a quality
group. For Ecuador.
That's a quality group. Honestly, that's.
That is a 2014, 2010 World Cup group where we saw actually interesting groups, not like some of these like Group A, Group B. Mm-hmm. So I guess Tunisia now goes into Group F because they cannot go into Group C because of Morocco?
Yep, that's correct.
So Netherlands, Japan, Tunisia, that's another group where you're kind of rolling your eyes and saying, where is the level here?
Yeah, To be honest, Netherlands obviously they are an A-list countries now still. They're pot one obviously, but
Japan's a top 15 team easily. Japan would be happy because they really got hard done by their 2022 draw. So having to play Germany and Spain.
There goes Egypt. So Egypt can't go into Group C because Morocco is in there. So Egypt will go into Group G. So it is Belgium, Iran, and Egypt. Again, an interesting group. I mean, Belgium should get through, even though they're so weak.
They have to. They have to. There's no excuses.
Of course,
there.
I mean, they will not. I mean, they're good enough for that, for sure. I mean, even going a second there, it's like Egypt is not strong. I mean, at the moment, certainly not.
Give me Norway or give me death.
This
so the next team probably will go to Brazil's group.
Scotland. Yeah. So Scotland, Morocco, Brazil. That is not an easy group either.
No, not at all.
That's like a great combination or a mix of completely different footballing cultures, that group.
Absolutely, great point. And Brazil's going to have their work cut out because Morocco and Scotland are both very hardworking teams.
So here we go, guys. Here we go. Yeah. Saudi Arabia, Uzbekistan, Algeria, Panama, or Norway. Give me Panama. Give me Panama.
Algeria would be cool, actually.
Or give me Uzbekistan.
We've played them ahead of the 2019 Copa. Is that right or no?
Saudi Arabia. Let's go. I'll take it.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Remember that game in the 2018? That was a horrific game.
1-0. I think that's the only World Cup game I've ever watched for Uruguay that I fell asleep during.
Which one?
The 1-0 against Saudi Arabia, 2018.
Oh. All right. So Uruguay has drawn Spain and Saudi Arabia. Let me check the schedule and see if I can pull up what game that will be. I don't know, but I can tell you that game will either be in Miami or Atlanta. That game, Uruguay, Saudi Arabia will be either in Miami or Atlanta.
Interesting.
Hey, I'll take it, man. I'll take it.
That's great. That's great news for
you. Tickets are going to be cheap. So Group J, give them Norway.
No, God, no. They'll get Algeria. Watch.
They did get Algeria. So Argentina, Algeria, and Austria in Group J. That could be the team that Uruguay faces, one of those two teams, depending on where Uruguay finishes in their group. Uzbekistan goes into Group I believe.
Yeah.
With France and Senegal. France getting a nice group to pass easily into the second round. And now only Norway, Panama, and Uzbekistan are left. Let's see if Portugal draws Norway and you get Uzbekistan. So Portugal, Uzbekistan, and Colombia. That's lucky for Colombia, right?
Yeah, but why are they not in Group I? Uzbekistan.
I have Uzbekistan in K with Portugal and Colombia.
So Panama, I believe, goes. So we're gonna get a rematch, right? Didn't Panama play France in the last World Cup?
But Panama, I think, are going into England's group.
I don't understand. How does that work?
Why was Uzbekistan not put in Group I? That's what I don't understand. There's no place there because there's confederations, right?
Yep. So Panama, you're right, goes into England's group, and Norway will go into France and Senegal's group.
That's a group of death right there.
I didn't understand that one, but wow, that could be a group of death. I didn't understand why that happened. But FIFA will have their way. So we are one group away from finding out who the entire groups will be, and then we'll have a quick rundown of the groups. We'll have a quick little summary session with all of us, and then we will let you guys go. Don't forget to like and subscribe the podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to my social medias at Dice El Dani. Don't forget to subscribe to Alessandro's stuff, which he mentioned earlier. Alessandro Vina Alessandro 1 on on X. And don't forget to subscribe to Dave's stuff too. Uruguayan Heroes puts out some great content. And I'm sure with the World Cup coming back, Dave, you're going to get a little bit back into this.
Yeah, of course.
We got to pull you out of retirement here. We got to get you
Yeah.
back in the fold.
Well, I can get you some really interesting content if I'm going to be going to the games.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. No, of course I'm gonna watch anyway. But for me, like this account, I don't want to do it like 50%, so that's why I kind of thought, well, let's keep it what it is right now. But when World Cup is around the corner, I mean, you have to, right? This is the best thing that happens.
I'll be considering making a trip out to Miami if it lines up. I know I was there for the Copa America.
Yeah, if you come down here, we're definitely going to meet up. We're definitely going to film some content together. We're definitely going to get to watch Uruguay play. Hopefully, get to see them win. I'm going to be taking my son out there. I don't know if you guys follow MLS at all, but tomorrow is the MLS Cup final. Inter Miami is hosting Vancouver Whitecaps. I'll be out there creating content. I'm taking my son. So the fact that I get to attend a final, and especially a final that, Suarez could possibly play, and it could be maybe his last game ever as a professional. He might be retiring. He might be going back to Nacional.
I heard those rumors this morning. Very interesting. Very interesting. I could see it. Link up with Coates, Loredo. He's very close with those two.
Absolutely. I don't know what Coates is going to do now after the season. But I can tell you the contacts are there. I know from an inside source that the contacts have been there. They've been there for a while. Suarez has been offered a 1-year contract extension by Inter Miami that he has been thinking about it. He hasn't signed anything yet, but he doesn't want to make up his mind until after the MLS Cup final. So we should find out a little bit more on Sunday, on Monday, as the days unwind. But it would be interesting to see Suarez go back and finish his career in Uruguay after he said the last time that he went that it was his last time there.
I don't know. It would be a fairy tale. It would be a fairy tale ending, but it's with Suarez, it's never really the end, is it? I've been saying it for how many years?
But for me, I kind of thought both of them, Cavani and Suarez, would have finished actually after last season, but certainly this season. But if he wants to go like 6 months more, he should always do it in Nacional, not at the Inter Miami, because it's a nice life, but it's not his home, and also he's not even getting the respect there at times, which is understandable because physically he's not there. He's not been there for a long time, but he can still pull something out of his head when he's playing Porto at the Club World Cup, for example. But just go home, play some games there. You're loved there. You're playing with friends. Lodeiro, who he has known for 20 years. I mean, come on, that's right.
He cried. I remember he cried in an interview when Lodeiro was cut.
Yeah, I recall. Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, I remember watching it and thinking it's really nice, but also it's like this is very emotional. Maybe because I'm Dutch, I'm not at that level, but but I recall what you're saying. Yeah.
All right, here we go. The last round is here. Let's see who goes. Denmark, North Macedonia, Czechia, or Republic of Ireland. One of those 4 teams will be going into Group A against Mexico, South Africa, and South Korea, or Korea Republic, however you prefer to say it. Interesting, no?
That's a Mexico are laughing. If they want to avoid, they definitely would want to avoid Denmark, though.
I mean, Denmark, Ireland, even the Czech Republic has historically been a pretty good team. And North Macedonia was a team that upset Italy and made it to the last World Cup. So, I mean, that it's not a walk in the park. All right, so we avoided Italy. Italy will go now into Group B. Italy, Northern Ireland, Wales, or Bosnia will go into Group B with Canada, Qatar, and Switzerland. So we dodged one bullet, guys.
It made too much sense. The Italian market in Toronto and the surrounding Greater Toronto area is massive. If it's Italy, this place is going to be exploding.
All right, so we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 more groups to go. 10 more teams to place, and then we will wrap this up, give our opinions. And I got to go back to work, unfortunately.
Me too.
Haiti goes into Brazil, Morocco, and Scotland's group. What turned out to be what was looking to be a tough group for Brazil turned out to be a pretty easy group, because the only tough team I see there is Brazil, Morocco.
Scotland will push them, but Brazil should, on paper, get by Scotland. All said and done.
Yeah.
All right, Group D. I don't believe that Curacao can go into Group D, so I believe they will into Group E. So Curacao goes into one of the group of deaths. Curacao goes into Germany, Cote d'Ivoire, and Ecuador. That is a very, very tough group.
That is tough, but given that this time you just need to finish in the top 3, the other 3 are breathing a sigh of relief that it's Curacao in that group.
So the manager of Curacao is a Dutchman, Dick Advocaat. I guess the manager of Sunderland once. And so, that the fact they are there is like a success, but they have no chance here. At least that's what I think. But
I think any of Germany, Cote d'Ivoire, Ecuador could top that group. But let's see.
We dodged another bullet. I guess not really, but the winner of the Iraq, Bolivia, Suriname playoff 2 series will go into Group F, because I believe that they cannot go into Group D, if I'm not mistaken. But let's see what.
I think down.
Further down, they go into Group I.
Yeah, they would
the
go
winner
into I. Yeah.
of the Bolivia, Iraq, Suriname will go into the France, Senegal, Norway, another group of death. That's a tough group too. France, Norway, and Senegal. Tough.
Especially tough if Bolivia make it through there. Bolivia would be favored to top that group.
Next team up is Cape Verde Islands. And I believe they will go to Group D, if I'm not mistaken. Unless
no, I don't think they can.
Oh, because Australia's in there?
I don't know. Let's see.
Let's see what comes up here. Group H. So they go into our group. Yeah. So Cape Verde Islands goes into our group. How are you guys feeling about that? Uruguay's group is complete.
Yeah.
Let's be real about it. At first, we were worried with Spain, given the other 2 teams that are drawn in. This is an accessible group to progress.
That's anything else than second is like a failure in that group. That's just the way it is.
I agree.
It's not the most inspiring group, to be honest, in terms of matchups besides Spain. But yeah, I'm not sure how to respond to it.
And the Turkey, Romania, Slovakia, and Kosovo playoff winner will go into Group maybe D now. I don't know. At this point, I don't even know how this works anymore. I don't know how they continue to skip there, but I'm assuming it's going to go into the USA group.
There's no European team there, so it'd have to be.
Yep, there it is. So USA, Paraguay, Australia, and the winner of the Turkey, Romania, Slovakia, and Kosovo. Again, a pretty easy group for USA, but you have Romania, who has made some noise in past World Cups. You have Slovakia, who is looking to qualify into their first World Cup. We'll see what happens with the USA.
Most notably Romania in '94 in the US.
So look, Ukraine and Sweden, I guess, will now go into, I don't know, I guess they can go into Pot F or Group F. There it is. So that's another tough group. What we thought was going to be a pretty easy group, you get Ukraine, Sweden, Poland, or Albania. One of those 3, Ukraine, Sweden, and Poland, could get into that group. And Netherlands, Japan, one of those 3 teams in Tunisia is not a walk in the park.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So Jordan will go. Don't tell me Jordan's going to go into Argentina's group.
They have to. They can't go to G. They have to go to J.
Can't they go to L?
No, they're
in some sequential order.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Argentina, Algeria, Austria, and Jordan. I mean, come on. This is this the balls are cold. The balls are cold.
But to be honest, I mean, I like to shit on Argentina as well. But even if it was a little bit more difficult, I mean, they're gonna manage, So,
all right, 3 teams left in here. Another playoff winner: New Zealand and Ghana. The first one is the playoff winner: Congo, Jamaica, or New Caledonia. That one will go into group. Hopefully, it's G, if I'm not mistaken, and then you will have Ghana and New Zealand in the last 2 groups. And let's see.
You would have to go to K because the African.
You're right. You're right. You're keeping me honest. You're keeping me honest, Ale. You're keeping me honest. So Portugal, Uzbekistan, the winner of that playoff between New Caledonia, Jamaica, and I already forgot the other team. That will go into Group K with Portugal, Uzbekistan, and Colombia. I mean, Portugal and Colombia should walk. It should be a walk in the park for them.
Should be on paper. Yeah, it'd just be a matter of who tops Portugal or Colombia, which would probably be Portugal at the end of the day.
And there is Ghana. I assume Ghana will go into Group L, so they don't get mixed up with Egypt. And New Zealand will be the lucky team to get into Belgium, Egypt, Iran, and New Zealand. England's group: England, Croatia, Ghana, and Panama. A very tough group as well.
Tough for the other 3. I mean, Croatia have enough culture and history, and I think enough on paper to defeat Ghana and Panama. But we'll see.
All right, so let's give our final thoughts here. We know that Uruguay's group: Spain, Cape Verde Islands, Saudi Arabia, Uruguay. Final thoughts, guys. Let me hear them. Let everybody know where they can hear you at, and we'll wrap this up.
Yeah, Alessandro, go ahead, man.
Yeah, well, you can find me again, like Danny said, Vina Alessandro1 on Twitter and Alessandro_Vina on Instagram. But final thoughts, Uruguay. It started with a lump in my throat because I thought, we could be in real big trouble. Spain was the one in pot 1 that I would instinctively say I want to avoid that European team. That being said, given the other 2 in the group, Saudi Arabia, who we previously faced and defeated 1-0 in 2018, and Cape Verde, who are somehow remarkably one of the only countries smaller than Uruguay in the actual whole tournament, is a favorable matchup. And on paper, Uruguay should be defeating both of those teams. I think it's anything, like Dave said earlier in the stream, anything less than second place will be absolutely, Bielsa will be crucified by the Uruguayan media. But all said and done, I think we walk away with an accessible group, and especially given the fact that we'll play someone from J, I believe you were saying, Danny. So it could be a lot worse, but we just have to position ourselves to avoid Argentina if that's the case. But I think all said and done, we walk away with a 7 out of 10 draw.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good draw. It's like you have good competition in one game with Spain. You can test yourself to a team that will compete for the World Cup, no doubt. So that's always good, I think. And there are 2 opponents that I don't think pose a big risk for us being knocked out. Well, it's also true that Uruguay, I think, in World Cups, they can raise their level to certain opponents, but they also can lower their level to certain opponents. Yeah, so that's why it's always a risk, or it's always you're never at ease, But it's good. You have to advance a second team. And hopefully build some momentum with some good performances against all of them, but certainly against Saudi Arabia and Cape Verde. So, yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me, both Dave, both Alessandro. It's been a pleasure to spend the last hour with you guys, break this down, talk about Uruguay, talk about the ups and downs, the Bielsa drama, talk about Suarez. Really, we've talked about so much in this last hour. It's been a blast. We got to do it a lot more often.
Absolutely.
As always, thank everybody who's been watching us. We had almost 400 people watching us live the whole time during this live. So thank you so much to all of you. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me at Diesel Danny. Follow these other 2 guys that are fantastic gentlemen. And we'll see you next time.